2025 NFL Draft coverage on Keon Sports is brought to you by Chatty's Pizzeria, the home of Night 2 of the Keon Sports Live NFL Draft Show on Friday, April 25th. In the heart of Bay Village, at 28611 Lake Road, this incredible pizzeria offers a full menu of food and drinks. They have everything from a casual dining experience to the romantic setting of a long-awaited date night. Their food is made on the spot with fresh ingredients and classic recipes that the entire family will enjoy. From a cozy spot in the igloo to the party room, everyone will be taken care of. Call 440-471-4485. That's 440-471-4485. Or email info@Chatty's Pizzeria for reservations for the upcoming prime rib night. North Olmsted Sportsman Club. They offer a little bit of everything that the true outdoor sportsman would enjoy. At NOSC, memberships are open to everyone from novice to master. For those just starting, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources sponsors several adult and junior programs open to the public at NOSC. Everything is provided free of charge, including equipment, ammo, and targets. Also, don't forget Ladies' Night. Find out more about one of North Olmsted's oldest and most prestigious clubs at North Olmsted Sportsman's Club. Cement Mason Local 404 Union. Whether you are an experienced journeyman or an apprentice, their doors are open for you to join the union. Current and future demand for skilled craftsmen necessitates an apprenticeship program that takes into consideration practices of one of the world's oldest trades, along with instruction in new techniques, applications, technologies, and materials. The Local 404 Cement Masons Joint Apprenticeship and Training Program, JATC, supports a world-class curriculum of instruction and on-the-job training for more than 40 apprentices annually. Union Cement Mason skills are honed with the most comprehensive apprenticeship training program in the industry. And JBL Roofing and Construction, with 25-plus years of excellence in roofing and construction, this family-owned and trusted company is your first choice in roofing needs. Experience the difference with JBL Roofing and Construction. You can find out more about them at jblrc.com. Hello and welcome back for another episode of 2025 NFL Draft Prospect Evaluations. I'm Cole McDaniel, and it's the tight ends we're going to talk about here today, the top three to be more specific. And we've covered the quarterbacks, gone over the running backs and the wide receivers, but this tight end class, as we round out the skill position players on offense, it might not be the deepest class. So there's not a ton of tight ends that I'm like, this is a top 200 type of guy. But it's an excellent class. And what I mean by that, very top heavy. A lot of strong players at the top. And if your team that needs a tight end, this is a class to think about taking one. And I'm going to start by talking about number 3, Colston Loveland of Michigan. Loveland is an excellent slot receiving tight end with good length, upper body strength, and crafty nimbleness. He has a high football IQ and can block inside or outside. His body control after the catch leads to gaining extra yards regularly, and his ball tracking skills are impressive. He's not necessarily a consistent blocker, and he lacks the leverage or separation versus top-tier defensive backs. But I do think he will be a quality NFL tight end, whether that is as a long-term starter or a really strong backup. Maybe a team that has like an inline blocking tight end. It'd be nice to pair him since he's more of a slot receiving type of guy. So could be a nice number 2 on the depth chart or the potential of a strong number 1. My player comparisons for him, Jeremy Ruckert. Ruckert is a guy who I thought was going to be really good coming out of Ohio State. He's a very talented tight end, willing blocker, has that inline ability, but also could be a slot receiving type of guy. Needless to say, with the Jets, he hasn't necessarily produced to this point, hasn't had quite the opportunities that I thought he would. But that's maybe the floor for Loveland. Tucker Kraft would be my other comparison. Kraft on the other end has really excelled in the last year. So I think Tucker Kraft could maybe be more of the ceiling level for Loveland. It's going to be a second to third round pick, most likely, day 2 guy. Best fits for him, the Los Angeles Rams, the Los Angeles Chargers. So both LA teams, they could use a tight end like Loveland. The Indianapolis Colts, I think they'd like a receiving threat there on their offense like Loveland. And my wild card is the Dallas Cowboys. They already have Jake Ferguson, but I think it wouldn't be bad to add a player like Loveland. At number 2, and this top 2 is very impressive, Harold Fannin Jr. of Bowling Green. Fannin was one of the 2 best tight ends in college football last season. He dominated versus the MAC and put together a really impressive year statistically. He is an inline receiving tight end with sudden burst out of his stance. Fannin's hands are plucky, and he has some wiggle and burst to pick up yards after the catch. He's a great route runner, which really makes him a Swiss Army knife in a pass-heavy scheme. His loose hips help him change direction, and he is also a sound perimeter blocker. Fannin's durability means that he can stay on the field and keep making plays over an extended period of time, which is ideal for some NFL teams that they could use a number 1 tight end and a true number 1 who can spend most of the game out there on the field. He doesn't have elite length, and he could use some practice finding his leverage as a blocker, but doesn't have an issue on the outside. It's when he's up against bigger competition on the inside. Not a major issue for him, though. The step up in competition and learning pro-style sets might take a little bit of time, but if he can get tougher versus press man coverage as a receiver, I think he's going to make a difference very, very early. My player comparisons for him, Trey McBride. McBride has established himself as one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Maybe Fannin doesn't quite hit that level, but I do think he has the receiving ability like McBride. In the right scheme, he could get utilized to the extent McBride was utilized this past year, and you'd see some really good numbers for Fannin. Jatavion Sanders. Sanders, good prospect in recent times, hasn't nearly hit the level that McBride has, and probably won't, but he's still a good tight end. I see some similarities there in their builds, the way that they play. My projection, late first to mid-second round pick, and the best fits for him, the Chargers, they'd love to pick him up. The Indianapolis Colts, similar to the Colston Loveland explanation with the best fits. Both the Chargers, the Colts, they could really use him. 2 new ones, though, here on the list for him. The New York Jets. Mentioned Jeremy Ruckert a little bit ago. Ruckert, bigger, better blocker. He and Fannin could actually pair quite well as the top 2 tight ends on that roster. And then my wild card is the Cincinnati Bengals. Give Joe Burrow another receiving threat to pair with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, who both got contract extensions. You put Fannin in at tight end, and Joe Burrow will have no issues finding an open receiver. At number 1, Tyler Warren of Penn State. Warren shined for Penn State in recent history. The Nittany Lions had a lack of talented wide receivers, but Warren made up for it with his productivity. He is a versatile tight end with great size, exceptional athleticism, and natural hands as a receiver. His route running skills and tough running ability leads to mismatches all over the field. Not only is Warren a red zone threat as a receiver, but his ability to take direct snaps in wildcat formations could amplify his use in the red zone. He's a nasty blocker with a high football IQ, and despite still being raw at the position and developing, I'm really impressed with the strides that he made in college, and there's a reason why he was the best tight end in college in recent history. His blocking technique could use some work, and Warren could also afford to add a touch more muscle to his frame, but I look at him as a potential star tight end for many years to come. My player comparisons for him, more of the body build and more of the playing style of Mark Andrews and Zach Ertz, both players who have been successful for years in the league. Andrews with the Baltimore Ravens, Ertz with the Eagles and the Cardinals, and now most recently with the Commanders. Projection, he's going to be a first-round pick. No doubt about that. There's no reason why he should get to the second round. Best fits for him. The Bengals, wow. That pairing would be electric, to say the least. The Seattle Seahawks, they could use a better receiving tight end. Noah Fant has been pretty average, if not below average, for a starting tight end in the NFL for a while. So Sam Darnold, new to Seattle, having Jackson Smith and Jigba, now getting Cooper Kupp. You add Tyler Warren, I think that would really help their passing game. In the Denver Broncos, Evan Ingram came in, but I think that they wouldn't be too upset to add Tyler Warren to that depth chart and have Tyler Warren and Evan Ingram operating out of the tight end spots in Denver. And my wild card is the New Orleans Saints. The Saints, they have had an interesting tight end situation where they've had a few good tight ends in recent times. And then you also have the Swiss Army knife of Taysom Hill, who technically gets listed as a tight end at times, can run out of the tight end position, but he's really just getting used for wildcat, really placing him all over the field. So needless to say, I think that it's been a long time coming for the Saints to have a number one at that position. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that the last 4 episodes talking about the skill position players on offense have been beneficial and informative. We're going to talk about the offensive tackles and the interior offensive line the next 2 episodes to round out the offense, and then we move to the defense once we're a little over halfway through. So stay tuned. More episodes, more content coming on the 2025 NFL Draft here on Keon Sports.